hello, and welcome. Hello, and welcome. I'm gonna do it again. Hello, and welcome. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the All In No Limits podcast. Let me grab this remote real quick. Don't mind me. Hola, ¿cómo estás, beautiful people? Welcome back to the All In No Limits podcast. Let's get comfortable. So listen, y'all, I got these new chairs, right? And I can't get as comfortable as I want. I'm having separation anxiety from my other chairs because they were so big and so heavy, but they were so comfortable. So um we're gonna make it do what it do. I was gonna put shoes on because I had shoes on with this dress, but I can't get comfortable with no shoes on. So here I am. But anywho, welcome back to the All In No Limits podcast, where you're gonna always find me, your friend, your sister, your pusher, your best friend, your number one motivator, your biggest hype man. It's me, your girl Sharani Vaughn, and welcome back, beautiful people. We have something to talk about. Let me tell you why I have to talk about this, right? Oftentimes I tell you guys a lot of the things that I talk about, everything that I talk about, I've experienced. It's from experience. So when I go on a tangent and I'm talking, it's because I'm speaking from my experience. So I hope and pray that it's helping you, right? That's the goal. Because what we come to do, we came to heal, we came to grow, we came to evolve, we came to expand, we came to elevate, we came to glow. I want you to glow. And the way that you glow is you become the best version of you because you matter. Do you hear me? You matter. You are necessary. You are necessary. You are necessary. Okay. So we back here, right? And I'm gonna tell y'all what we're talking about, but let me tell you how it came about. First of all, hold on, let me get this up real quick. I want y'all to see my new cup. This was specially made for me. Y'all see it? It's a Davis. Angie, I love you. Do you hear me? I love you, pretty girl. This was hot water. It's now warm water. I don't really like it, but we're gonna drink it because that's all we got right now. Okay. Um, I need to put my glasses on. However, the topic for today, you guys, is so good. It's like real good, right? And let me tell you how it came about. So I was sleeping this week. This week, y'all, I was sleeping. So I have many of topics that I've already wrote down, that I've already researched, that I'm already into, right? But one thing I do is I'm led by the spirit. There's certain topics that I would like to have when I have guests, and there's certain topics that I like to have when it's just me and you. It's intimate time. This is our intimate time. This is a time where we grow, where we put everything on the table and we heal. Because we ain't picking none of that trauma up, right? Right. Okay. So, I was sleeping. I was sleeping real good, by the way. And nothing but God. And I always credit God for everything because he's my firm foundation, which you already know because I say it probably on every show. Um, but he woke me up, you guys, and he had me write it. And he's literally clear as day woke me up and said, write this down. I'm in good sleep. And I'm like, what? But you already know I'm going to listen because he is my father. So whatever he tell me to do, I'm going to do it. So you guys, I woke up, opened my phone, went into notes, wrote down stuff, right? Mind you, I wasn't aware of all that I wrote down. I just knew I wrote down something, right? Well, I kind of didn't even remember because the next day I was like, did I wake up in the middle of my sleep? I did. And I went to my notes and I was like, a whole topic, like questions. So what I wrote was a topic and it was questions. And it was about fighting depression. And it's been heavy on my heart to talk about this simply because I have so many people that I'm connected to, that I know, that I love, that has battled depression. And my thing was, I feel like in order to heal from something, you have to know what it is. You have to know what it looked like, what it sound like, what it smelled like, how to navigate through that thing. What are the other options? What are the alternatives? So my thing is, in order for us to acknowledge it and know what it is, we have to know what it is, right? We have to get educated on it. So a lot of people battle depression and they don't even know that it is depression. You know, a lot of people go through things physically and mentally and they don't know that it's depression. People get sick and your vital organs start to shut down and things start to go wrong and it's from depression. A lot of illnesses grow from depression. We don't know that, but there's help out there. So I wanted to talk about not just fighting depression, but what depression is. So I created like a whole little objective. The crazy part is I can't stand objectives. I'm a student, right? We all know that I'm a professional student. Yeah, I'm in the master's program, right? But you actually learn so much. And so when I got up the next day and I saw what I wrote, it was literally an objective. It was like questions. And I'm going to go over some of the questions that I'm going to talk about today, and we're going to answer them. And listen, if you have any information, please, 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 if you have any information, leave it in the comments because somebody might need it. We're here to help each other. When I woke up, it said these are the questions. So I got a whole lot of information here because I went through each question and kind of filled in the blanks. So I'm going to be reading a lot from here, which means I need to put my glasses on. I remember my glasses, y'all. But I thought it was necessary that we talk about depression because oftentimes we don't realize that depression triggers certain things for us to do. A lot of people drink and smoke and do all kind of things like that. Not so that I wouldn't call those healthy coping mechanisms, right? We all have different mechanisms that we use to navigate through, whether it's anxiety, depression, stress, sadness, anger, whatever. We have different things that that we do. Some things are healthy and it's beneficial, and some things are not. So we're gonna navigate through that whole situation. And this is not to make anybody feel bad. This is not to judge anyone. This is not to tell you what to do because I'm never here to tell you what to do. Like I say, I'm giving you the blueprint to what I use and what I did. And if you want to use it, you're more than welcome to because I'm not a gatekeeper. And if it works for you, it works for you. And if it doesn't, find your own blueprint. Remember, whatever moment you decide to heal is the right time. Wherever you at in that healing process, it's the right time. So this is just information. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Pull up. Okay, anywho. Don't mind me. Y'all know I'm silly. So yeah. So God gave me that. And I said it was an objective, right? Let me go through some of the questions because they're pretty dope. What is depression? I think it's very necessary for us to know what it is. What builds depression? So you have depression and there's things that actually build it. There's things that actually aid it. There's things that actually help transition into what depression is. We're going to talk about it. What does depression look like? Everybody's situation is different. We're going to talk about it. How does depression make you feel? Now, so when I respond to these things, this is just some of the things that I see. This is my observation. And these are some of the things that I've experienced. So when I talk about it, it won't be, I don't want you to take it like, oh, that's exactly what it is. No, that's what it looks like on some people. Get me? Because I don't want y'all to take what I'm saying to heart and feel like, oh, this is the concrete. This is what it is. No, this is just us talking. And remember, in conversations, we heal. That's the goal. If you're going to talk to heal. If you're going to go talk to grow. This is what we're here to do. In conversations, we come to heal. Oftentimes, if you even have a conversation out loud to yourself, it will cause you to realize things that you didn't realize that you needed to realize, and it'll help you to heal. It'll help you to see things. It'll help you break generational curse. It will help you to maneuver through situations that might have been rough for you, that may have been a struggle for you. You understand? Okay. I ain't talking about nobody. I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. Bear with your girl. Okay, here we go. More of the objectives. I said, how does depression make you feel? Is it okay to take medication for depression? What other medicational ways can you treat depression? When should you ask for help? Who do you ask for help? right? Um, how to balance your life, your household, your children while in depression, winning depression. How do I overcome depression? Am I stronger than depression? And then I wrote down a few steps to take care of yourself and hopefully helps you feel better in the process of healing from depression. So you guys know I gotta go all in. So we ain't got much time. We only got an hour. What is this? A powerful hour. Let's go. We're going to have a powerful hour because a lot of people face depression. A lot of people experience depression, and some people don't even know that they're experiencing it. So they don't know how to one navigate it, to get the help that they need, because most likely they're in denial. And maybe they're not in denial, they just don't know what it is. They feel the heaviness on their body. They feel the sickness and nothing's really wrong. There is something wrong, but it's not really physical versus mental. And I'm not saying like a mental disorder. I'm saying we're gonna talk about it. Cause I don't want y'all to get no wrong ideas, okay? Fighting depression. That's what this is. And we're gonna fight. And not only we're gonna fight, but we're gonna win. You hear me? We're gonna win together. It says, what is depression? So I looked up the few definitions. You know, I got to go to Webster and see what they got to say before I put my little on it. Here we go. Depression is an illness characterized by persistent sadness. Persistent sadness. That means constant, nonstop sadness and a loss of interest in activities that you normally enjoy, accompanied by an inability to carry out daily activities for at least 2 weeks. This is what depression is. I learned so much researching this. Let's keep going. Clinical, so there's different forms of depression. It also says depression is about 50% more common. And I don't know if I remember, I agree with this in the noun, but we're going to talk about it. It says depression is about 50% more common amongst women, which I get why they're saying that, than men. Worldwide, more than 10% of pregnant women and women who just have given birth experience depression. We do know that. We do understand that. Then it says more than 700 people die due to suicide every year due to depression. Now, what I have realized is that a lot of men battle depression. A lot of men go through those things and they do not know how to navigate through it because they were never in an environment where it was okay to talk about it, where it was not just okay, but just a topic of discussion to be able to express yourself and articulate what you feel inside. I think it's very necessary that we allow our baby boys to grow up to be able to articulate how they feel inside, whether they're sad, happy, angry, irritated, excited, whatever it is. I think it's very necessary. And like I tell you guys, I do this with my godsons. I think it's very necessary for me to let them express themselves, no matter how long it takes. Because you know, at different ages, some stutter, some don't is trying to figure out the right words. But to sit there and listen to the heart of I have 4 boys, to hear them and hear them tell me what they feel and why they feel that way, and me want to take the sadness and frustration away from them. Y'all don't understand. Who, or maybe I do, but I open up the floor to let them express themselves. I do that because I want them to be able to be healthy young men, that when they become married and have children, they're able to communicate with their wife and they're able to communicate with their children in a healthy manner, and teach them that it's okay to talk about how you feel. It's okay if you have to cry. It's okay if you're emotional about that. But let's talk about it. Let's navigate through this thing together so that you can heal. I'm not going to let you just stay there. You know what I'm saying? So as I was reading through what depression was, um, I learned so much because depression comes in different forms. So I also read this, you guys, that it says you're only depressed once in your lifetime. And then after that, you have episodes of depression. I never knew that. That's something new I knew. I learned today, you guys. And I was like, what? It says you're only depressed once in your whole life. But then you have episodes of depression. You have episodes of sadness. You have episodes. And when it's talk about depression, it means you're like in this monument moment where you can't really pull yourself out of this dark and sad place. You know what I'm saying? It's like sitting in a room. You don't want to get out of bed and you don't make yourself get out. You just stay there for like 2 weeks at a time. That's how they kind of expressed it, right? Then it talks about clinical depression. And it says clinical depression is the more severe form of depression, also known as a major depression or major depressive disorder. It isn't the same as depression caused by a loss, such as a death of a loved one, or a medical condition such as thyroid disorder. So what it's saying is this type of depression, because there's different forms, right? Losing people can cause us to go through a depression. It can either cause our experience of depression for the first time in our life, or we can go through an episode of depression. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you've already been depressed in your life, you've healed, you've grown, but now you have these episodes. That's what I'm assuming that it's saying, because that's what I read and that's how I understand it. If you understand it another way, please leave it in the comments and let me know, because I want to learn. I'm a professional student. I want to learn all that I can learn. And I don't know everything. So fill your girl in. But it talks about how the clinical depression is a person who is more so depressed just over everything, over life in general. These are the people who there are things that could trigger their depression. There could be bullying. There can be no, they don't feel loved. They don't love themselves or like themselves, or other people has caused them to have self-hate. There's different things that people could that could trigger someone's depression. But they said the clinical depression, the severe depression, the major depression is usually not caused by death. Now, I believe that it can, because sometimes people can't handle dealing with the pain of losing someone that they love so much, to where one, they'll end up taking their own life, or two, they'll force themselves into depression. They'll force themselves to be sad. They'll force themselves to be depressed. They'll force themselves into this sad place and don't want help and don't want anybody around and don't want to come out. You have to be careful with this, right? The reason why I say that it's necessary for us to be careful with it and to be mindful of it, which is why we're learning what it is. Because when you can acknowledge and see what it is, you know how to address it. And you can address it before it gets out of control. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Because like I say, it's oftentimes if you nip it in the bud or you get it before it grows, then you'll have more self-control over it. So if something happened right now, I have control over it. It's really small. Let me control it now. Because if I allow it to grow and get bigger than me, it becomes overwhelming. It becomes too much. And now I feel like I'm spiraling out of control. And how do I control all of this craziness? Because I never dealt with it when it first happened. I kept brushing it to the side. I kept scooting it under the rug. I kept putting it behind my head. People like, I just put it behind. No. You can't put it. Pull it, face it, deal with it, maneuver through it. Put it in there is just stacking stuff back. All this stuff you just carrying on your shoulders. All this stuff you just carrying on your heart. All this stuff, your body's going to start shutting down. It can only carry so much, right? We're going to be gentle talking today. Because it's a touchy subject, right? what builds depression. So we know what depression is, but how do we get there? Like I said, there's different things that trigger our depression. A lot of times when things are out of our control, when we don't have a set control over what's happening, like exper- experiencing death after death. We don't have control over whether someone stay or go. We all know we have our appointed time to go, right? Um, and sometimes we have to deal with those things back to back, um, out of our control. It's not our will. But we still have to adjust to it. But we still have to accept it. But we still have to live through that pain. But we still have to endure, right? We still have to endure no matter what is out of our control. So oftentimes when situations are out of our control, it feels like it's taking advantage of us. It feels like it's taking over our mind and our body. And it's like, what do we do? So let's talk about it. It says what builds the depression. Some things are genetic vulnerability. I never knew that. I did know that, but I didn't know that it was actually a thing. I felt like, because I know some people that they battle with depression. I'm like, is it genetic? Because I know their parents have experienced it and I saw it. I saw it. Um, but it's actually a genetic thing too. So, severe life stressors that builds your depression, things that you stress about. That's why it's not good to stress about everything. What does it say? It says learning to let go of the things that you don't have control over and only worry about the things you do have control over. Like, I don't have control over everything and everybody. That's why I can't control what people think of me. I can't control what people say about me. That's none of my business. I worry about myself. When people come to me with stuff, you go ask my mom and them. I'll be like, that's none of my business. Sharon, did you hear? That's none of my business. I don't know about them. I don't know what they said. I don't know what they look like. I don't know. Yes, you do, Sharon. No, I don't. It's none of my business. Because I'm learning that the more I worry about me, I have less time to be worried about everybody else. The more I focus on Sharon, the less time I got time to focus on everybody else. And not in a negative way or a bad way, but what I look like sitting up talking about you when I need to focus on what I need to focus on. I'm focused on my focus. So things that build depression is stressors, things that we allow to stress us out. And sometimes people allow everything to stress them out. They take everything to heart. They put everything on their shoulders. They want to be mad at everybody. Like, aren't you going to let some of that go? It's necessary for you to let some of that go. Why? Because you can't carry the world on your shoulders. You can't carry every argument, every disagreement, and every frustrated situation on you. Why? You have no control over what those people said. You have no control over what people think about you. Don't waste your time even doing it because it will stress you out. So severe life stressors. Some medications builds on depression. Even some of the medications that you take for depression can cause depression. So you got to be careful because there's some medication that you could take for depression and it'll cause you to have suicidal thoughts. And some of the medications could have you overeating. So then you upset about your weight. Like, I'm telling you, there's so many side effects to all these things, but we gonna talk about it. It says drugs and alcohol that builds depression. I also believe that negative coping mechanisms build your depression. Why I say that? Because a lot of people will resort to drinking and smoking and doing all kind of things. Even some people are resorting to pills and sniffing certain stuff and inhaling certain things. And they do that to try to get away from the feeling. They try to numb the pain. They try to numb the thoughts. And we have to learn how to, I'm going to talk about the positive things that we could do to maneuver through. And now working through the positive things to maneuver through depression might take time. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. It's going to take consistency, right? That's what it's going to take. It's going to take dedication. But you're worth that. You're worth that. So when it talks about build other things that build depression, even medical conditions, you know what I've noticed? People that are so used to taking care of themselves, people that are so used to doing everything on their own, the moment they get ill and then people have to take care of them, that's hard for them. Imagine, imagine being so independent. You take care of yourself. You wash your face, brush your teeth, take your bath, put on your own clothes. You can walk, you could go to the store. You have this freedom. And then all of a sudden you get ill, you get sick, or something happened to where now you have to be solely dependent on someone else to take care of you. That could take a toll on someone. That's how I feel like a lot of times when people go from having a home, being able to shower and take care of their responsibilities to now not being able to bathe and not being able to go to a home and having to sleep on the streets, that does something to you mentally. You understand what I'm saying? There's so many different things in life that could happen that could trigger something that could cause us mentally to like have a breakdown or mentally just not be here anymore. These are some of the things that I looked up. Now, this is not all the things that build depression. These are just some of the things: genetics, severe life stressors, medications, drugs, alcohol, and medical conditions. Those are just some of the things that I'm naming. Again, it's not all. Then we talk about what depression looks like. Now, this is very different because depression can look happy, depression can look sad, depression can look excited and interesting, and depression can look devastating and harmful. They're so they're so people always say, I hear this a lot. I didn't even know they were going through anything, when we have to deal with people that have committed suicide. I didn't even know anything was wrong. They were so happy. They were so happy. They were so happy. They were just dancing and laughing. Sometimes it looks like dancing and laughing. Sometimes it looks like the one who's cracking all the jokes. Sometimes it looks like the one who's laughing the hardest all the time and having the most fun. Sometimes it looks like that. This, we're going to get to it because we ain't going to get emotional because I ain't no crier, but I've seen it. And oftentimes I see it on people before they could ever tell me. And one thing I've learned to do is respect people's space. I do eventually address it, but I think that there's a time and a place to address things like that. I think there's a time and a place to say what you need to say. Sometimes you have to allow people to come to you, and you got to make that space safe. You got to make that space available for them to feel comfortable enough to talk to you. Sometimes you don't want to throw it at them because some people are not ready to receive it, because some people have not yet accepted it. So for you to come at them like that, they're going to be like, feel attacked. And we don't want to attack them because that could cause more stress and that could cause them to hurt themselves or harm other people. So you have to be very careful with it because everybody responds to depression very differently, right? So what does depression look like? These are just some of the things. Again, it's not all. Depression has a disastrous effect on our skin because the chemicals associated with the condition can prevent your body from repairing inflammation in the cells. I've seen people stressed out. I've seen beautiful people become really saggy. You could tell it's not that they're old, it's that they're depressed and they're stressed out and they're carrying the world on their shoulders. I've seen it. Um, what else? Uh, Hormones that affect your sleep, which will show up on your face. This is all the stuff that's, you'll become puffy eyes, dull looking face. It's like a lifeless complexion. You look like you're not well. In so many words, sometimes the only signs that a person may show are physical, such as fatigue, insomnia, weight changes. We are aware of this. Some of these things, and the crazy part is a lot of these symptoms and a lot of the way that depression looks, it looks really normal. It looks really normal, right? Other signs of hidden depression can include using alcohol, drugs. You will see somebody overly abusing. Let's go to that. Abusing alcohol and drugs, being irritable or angry, losing interest in your pleasurable activities such as sex and hobbies. Come on now. Let's make it make sense. Irritability, anger, unexplained aches and pains, and changes in your energy and your focus and sleeping patterns can occur in both depression and anxiety, right? Because anxiety could trigger your depression. Come on, let's stay together, y'all. Even the persistent, dark, negative thoughts commonly associated with depression can look a lot like endless worry of anxiety. Losing interest in the things that you used to enjoy, not being able to focus on tasks, not wanting to get out of bed, no rest, even after many hours of sleep. These are just things that I thought of, that I've witnessed, and that I've experienced. Stay with me. A lot of people, like I already talked about, laughing, dancing to cover up the pain. One day you feel like you have control, and then the next day you feel like you ain't got it. One day you got the whole house ready for school, breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything is flowing. And then the next week or 2 weeks, you can't comb hair, you can't get them dressed, you can't clean up the house, you can't. This is what depression look like. You can have a lot of highs, or you can have some highs and have a whole lot of lows. You understand? But it's our job to be able to identify what that is in ourselves. I'm not telling you to look at somebody else. I'm not telling you to judge anyone else. I'm telling you, this is about us. This is so we can heal. This is so we can identify what's going on with our body. When you feel like something is off, like my electrolytes is off, I could always feel when my electrolytes is off. I'd be like, oops, something's missing. Let me figure it out. Let me figure out which one is missing because my body don't feel right. I always know. I always know when something wrong. I kid you not. Before I was tested for COVID, I knew I had it. And mind you, all I had was a headache. And I said, something is not right. Everybody like, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, I got this massive headache. Wasn't able to sleep, and the headache is just, it's throbbing. I said, something's wrong. I kept telling people, something's wrong. Something's wrong. I don't feel well. I don't feel well. I knew. You should always pay attention. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your body. That's my last time saying it. So those are some of the ways of what depression look like. Now, granted, depression could look like a whole lot of other things too. But these are just some of the things that I jotted down that I'm aware of, that I've witnessed, and again, that I've experienced. So I'm just telling you what I know, right? Again, if you know some other ways, write it down, because we need to be able to identify this. Because the more we're able to identify it and notice it and acknowledge it, the more we can address it and fix it, right? That's the goal, for us to face it in the mirror, address it, and then fix it. Let me drink some water. Yeah, I really don't like cold water, and this water is just, ugh. Anywho, no complaints. Let's move it on. How does depression make you feel? So, again, I don't know how depression might make you feel. This is just some of the things that I've witnessed, that I've heard, and that I've experienced, right? It says, although depression may occur only, this is where I got that information from. Although depression may occur only once during your life, people typically have multiple episodes. During these episodes, symptoms occur most of the day, nearly every day, and may include feelings of sadness, tearfulness, emptiness, hopelessness, anger outbursts, irritability, or frustration, even over small matters. Like everything tick you off. Every little thing, you got a short temper. You have no patience. Patience are going out the window. They don't even exist. They're nowhere in the facility, in the atmosphere. It's gone. You've lost it. You didn't lose it, but you lost the patience, okay? And so when depression makes you feel these things, right? You're irritable, you're agitated, you're angry, you don't want to be bothered, you don't really want to talk, you just cutting people off, you know. This is kind of what it feels like. Feeling of sadness and hopelessness. I said that. The lack of motivation or disinterest in life. Depression usually involves self-loathing or a loss of self-esteem, while grief typically does not. So I guess they're comparing grief to depression. And it was talking about in grief, positive emotion and happy memories of deceased typically accompany feelings of emotional pain. In major depressive disorders, the feelings of sadness is constant. So it's like you can't get out of this sad place for a long period of time. Now, granted, what I'm not saying, because understand this, when I was grieving, when I was in the grieving stage before I got to the healing stage, when I was going to therapy and everything, y'all, like when I tell you I exhausted every possibility to heal because I wanted to be the best version of me. I said, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. If they say do group therapy, if they say do one-on-one therapy, I did it. I went to therapy, you guys, and this is exactly what my therapist told me. She said, what are you doing? I said, and I told her, I said, I get up in the morning, I pray, I read my word, I do my same thing. I turn on my gospel music because I need to surround myself with healing things. I haven't been answering people calls. I write in my journal. When I'm sad, I feel it. When I'm happy, I laugh. I was like, whatever I feel in that moment, I'll allow that moment to be it. I don't force sadness. I don't force crying. I don't force anything. I've learned to be patient with myself, and I'm learning to be patient with other people. I'm allowing myself to go out when I feel like when people want to take me out, I'll go. I'm not going to stay in the house. Do I want to be around people all the time? No, but I will. Like I'm learning, I'm trying to live through the pain, and I'm trying to navigate through this thing. Not that I'm trying to get over the pain, because I want to feel what I feel. But I don't want it to control me, and I don't want it to hold me down, because there's those days where I will cry, you guys, and my best friend would be like, I could hear, like I could feel your pain through the walls. I was in a really hard place, right? And I will go into my shoe closet. So I have a walk-in closet, and then I have another closet in the back where my shoe closet is, and I will go in there, you guys, and it's really dark in there, and I will cry. And the kids, my sons, thank God for my godsons, they would always find me, and they would all wrap their arms just around me, and they would just console me and love on me, and I needed that. Now, so back to what I was saying. I'm sorry I didn't got all the way off. Um, the therapist told me, Sharon, you're not depressed, you're grieving. She was like, and how I know that is because you're not telling me that you're consistently sad nonstop. You're not telling me that you're sitting up in a room and you don't want to eat and you don't want to be bothered and you don't want to. She was like, you're living. She was like, you're doing everything that I would tell you to be doing. I would tell you to still go out and be with people. I would tell you, to write in your journal. I would tell you to surround yourself with healing things. I would tell you to feel whatever you feel. Don't force it, but let's feel what you feel. She was like, literally everything that you're telling me, you're already doing what I would tell you to do. And I was like, well, I need help. She was like, no, you don't. But I felt like I needed help because I'm navigating something I never had to navigate before. I'm like, I don't know what this is. This hurt and I don't like it. Like I was feeling all of these emotion pains from losing people that I love. And then I had to lose people back to back. And that was hard. But because I put myself on a healing journey, by the time the next one came, it hit me, y'all. It was a lot. And I'm still navigating through it, right? But I thank God because I'm not irritable, I'm not sad, but I have my moments of like man, so when we talk about what it looks like or what it feels like, these are examples of just life and it's all of what I come to realize when it comes to depression is how we navigate lifing. So sometimes we can't control losing our job, but it's how we look at it. It's our perception. Our perception would tell our brain what to feel. If my perception of losing that job and was like, hey, they didn't deserve me, and guess what? God's got something better for me. If that's my perception, I ain't gonna stress about that because I know God gonna work something out better for me. Because he always do. He always got a ram in a bush. Say it for the people in the back. He always got a ram in a bush. What does that mean? He always have a plan. He always have a hope. That might not work because I got something better for you. That's your ram in a bush. God says, I got you. He literally have us in the palm of his hand. He ain't gonna let us go. He said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. That means he will never give up on you. He will never throw in a towel on you. He will never stop loving you. He will never stop providing for you. He will never stop covering you. He won't stop. He said, I will never leave and I will never forsake. You got me. But so that's my firm foundation. So y'all see where my joy comes from. But depression looks and feels differently for everyone. But what I love is that because even though I feel like I didn't feel like I was depressed, I just felt like I've never experienced sadness like this before. Um, but that's what my therapist was telling me, like, Sharon, I don't need to see you often. And I was like, what you mean? Because I felt like, because people was like, well, you need to do this and you need to do that. I'm like, well, let me try to do what I could do. She was like, you don't need to see me often. She said, literally, every time I talk to you, she was like, when you cry, I don't feel like that's an issue. You should cry. You lost people you love. And, and she was like, but you're doing well. I said, okay, girl. She said, if you want, I could see you like maybe once every 3 to 4 months. She was like, but you're not a person that I need to see 3 to 4 weeks. I mean 3 to 4 times a week. And you dang sure not a person I need to see even once a month. She was like, you really are well. And that helped me in so many ways to heal. Because I said, well, if I'm doing everything that I need to do, well, let me keep trying to do this and navigate through this thing. And I wasn't just trying to get through it, you guys. I was trying to understand. And so when you're losing people, you try to understand what happened. Because sometimes it catches you off guard and you be like, what happened? But what happened? Because I just was on the phone with that person and I was just with that person. So what happened? So you're trying to make it make sense to you while feeling what you feeling. And you like, it's just spilling all over the place, y'all. It's just like everywhere. And it's like, oh my God, what else? That's literally how you feel. Like, what else? Like, what else? Anywho, let's move on because we've been there. um, so we talked about what depression looks like, how depression feels. Let's go into some of the serious things. All of this is serious though, but is it okay to take medication? So, and this is why, and I'm gonna be so vulnerable with you guys because I feel like that's the only way we're gonna heal. I think I heal more when in my honesty. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything with you guys. I brought this topic up for a reason. Because sometimes we could have some rough days, you guys. And I ain't gonna lie, Monday and Tuesday was my rough days. I just was not well. I didn't feel well. I was sad. Not really sad, just irritated. And I just was like, every day after work, I wanted to come home and go to sleep. I couldn't because I had class. I was just like, I want to go to bed. Like, I just want to go to bed. Shower, bed. Shower, bed. I'll eat tomorrow. That's how I was feeling. I was like, what's wrong with you? I was not well. I dressed in all black for work both days. Like, I'm not well. By Wednesday, y'all, I got it together. I got real cute. I put some hair on and everything. I said, I got to get out of this because I just wasn't feeling well. But anywho, the question is it okay to take medication? Now, let me tell you what this is. When the doctor first suggested it to me, I said, what is the medication? Because I'm big on not taking medication. I don't like to take medication. Oftentimes people like, Sharon, take pain pills. I'm not probably going to take them unless I'm in like really severe pain and I cannot take it. Then I'll be like, okay, let's try to figure this out. But I usually try to do like the non-invasive methods. I try to like relax, shower, take a bath, just take a walk or just woosah. I try to find other ways, whether it's icing the knee, elevating the knee, physical therapy. I try to find other avenues without having to take medication because I always feel like medication don't really work. However, that is not true. That's just my logic in my head because that makes me feel like I don't need it. And that's what I do for myself. Don't listen to Sharon on that part. Sometimes you have to take medication. And so what happened was I already have severe insomnia, right? I had already had insomnia. I have had several sleep tests because I sometimes stop breathing in my sleep. So I have like sleep apnea too. Pray for your girl. She's still here though. And so they had been doing tests. And so they had did a test and they were like, your sleep apnea has gotten better. They was like, but you have insomnia bad. They was like, you're not sleeping majority of the night, which was contributing to my headaches as well. It was bad, y'all. And I was like, well, I can't sleep. What y'all want me to do? I can't force myself to sleep. Tried everything. Tried the melatonin. No. Tried Benadryl. No. Like I exhausted all possibilities. I tried everything. You hear me? Everything. Tried everything. You know, having a drink. Mm-mm. Like I tried everything. So the doctor was like, okay, they had me, y'all, look. They was like, okay, Sherelle, we'll put these glasses on. And they're like, I don't know what they're called, but they're like dark. They look like dark sunglasses pretty much. I bought them. They told me to buy them. I bought them. You need to put these on by like 5 o'clock. First of all, I get off work at 5. That's when I was getting off work at 5. I was like, I get off work at 5. I got to go home. I got to shower. I got to eat. I got to prepare for the next day. And I got to wear these glasses the whole time because it's supposed to block out like the UV light and all this other stuff to help you start to get tired. Tried it. Didn't work. I was like, Lord, help. I'm so tired. Like, I was tired. Like, my body was tired. My mind was tired. And it's not good not to get good rest. So the doctor was like, well, I want to prescribe you some medication. I want you to try it. And it's for mood disorders. And I'm like, what? And it going to cause me to be moody? Like, I ain't got no mood disorders. I'm just not sleeping. Like, let's figure out something else. And she was like, well, Sharon, you are experiencing some traumatic situations. You know, you losing loved ones that you never lost before, you know. And I'm like, but you told me that I was doing well. Like, she was like, yeah, just because you're doing well doesn't mean you're resting. Yeah, I ran. I'm like, y'all gonna run some more tests because, baby, I'm not about to be doing no medication. And my sister said that to them. She said, why don't you want to do the medication? I'm like, because I don't want to be on meds, and you know I don't like to take medication, and and what if I get stuck on this medication? And she was like, that's what you're afraid of? I'm like, yes. I don't want to get stuck on any type of medication and feel like I gotta take that just to. I'm like, I want to do this naturally. And she was like, but what if you just got a little help until you got back on track? And I was like, okay. I didn't look at it that way. Sometimes you just need to talk to the right people at the right time and they can give you a little wisdom behind it because sometimes we're battling with ourselves for no reason. And I was battling with myself, you guys. So I tried the medication. And I think it helped me go to sleep, but it didn't keep me asleep. So I was like, well, I went to sleep, but I was up maybe 2-3 hours later and I kind of stayed up until it was time to go to work. And they were like, well, that's not good. Well, let's just up the dose just a little bit. I was like, okay. So they upped the dose a little bit. I slept, but it was really hard for me to get up. I was like drowsy in the morning. And they was like, well, you need to take it this time. So early, like I gotta get home, shower really quick, take the medicine because it is gonna start working about an hour or two later. I should be asleep by this time. It should wear off by that time. I'm like, yeah, your girl was going through it. But eventually I got the hang of it and it worked. It helped me to rest through the night. Like I was actually sleeping. And I was like, God, and I'm telling y'all, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, that feels so good. I slept. I'm rested. I'm well. I'm ready to go work. I'm ready to go conquer the world. That's how I felt. Like, I'm like, I could conquer the world. But you have to be mindful of what happened because what I did was I said, okay, well, let me take a break from it because I don't want to get dependent on it. Um, so I took a break. After like I took it for like a month or two, it worked. So I stopped taking it. And then you guys, I lost my sister and I was like, I'm not about to sleep. And it wasn't that I didn't want to sleep, it's just that I couldn't. Um I was tossing and turn all night. It was a lot. So I said, okay. And I started back taking the medication. And it helped me sleep. And so now I have days where I will take it and some days I don't take it. If I see I'm having a rough time or I'm having some type of anxiety or I can't, find rest, then I'll take it. But I don't need it. and I'm glad about it. But the thing is, if you need it, take it. If it's going to help you, take it. Read up on it, do your research, understand and know the side effects. So if they start to happen, you'll acknowledge it and then you'll address it and go to your doctor immediately and tell them what your side effects is, because there's so many other things out there that you can try that is beneficial for you. I asked them, what other things can we try for this sleeping thing? They told me physical therapy and acupuncture. So I'm like, let me exhaust every possibility. Whatever can relax my mind and my thoughts and help me to rest and I don't have to take medication, let's try it. Because y'all know I'm the non-medicational type of person. That's who I am. So but don't be ashamed. That's what I wanted to tell you. Because I felt some kind of way. And it was more of I felt like embarrassed or ashamed. Like, why do you got to take medication just for you to rest? And this is me battling with myself. Nobody was saying this to me. It was Sharon saying it to Sharon. And I said to myself, like, Sharon, why are you battling with yourself? Like, why do you feel like you want to have so much control over everything? Like, sit down. I talk to myself like that. Like, girl, sit down, chill. And so I had to lay back and I had to chill a little bit because I was overly, overly just analyzing everything. I was just taking it way too far because we have this preconception and this pre-notion in our brain about psychiatric medications and what it means and these different diagnoses. It doesn't define who you are. If you need help, get the help. If you need the medication, take the medication. I'm not saying become dependent on it. I'm saying do what you need to do to take care of yourself in the now so that you can be better for the future. You understand what I'm saying? Don't be ashamed if you have to take a certain medication just for you to cope with the day. Some of the things that you're dealing with is huge. And if there's something that you can do, do it. Don't be afraid and don't be ashamed. That's what I'm telling you. That's the goal of the medication on my behalf is don't be ashamed, because I was. Don't be afraid, because I was. I had all these things, but what if I, and what if I, and what if I? Sharon, calm down. Breathe. And I'm grateful that I did that because it actually helped me in the long run. It really, really did help me. So there's medications and there are psychotherapies that are effective for most people with depressions. What are non-medicational ways to treat depression? Cognitive behavioral therapy and interpersonal therapy. These are some of the ones that I did learn about. But I have some other ways that I just positive coping mechanisms that I feel that'll help you, because this is what I did. Again, you could use it. I ain't saying you can't. I mean, it's the right way. When should you ask for help? My response was, because I didn't have to research that, I feel like if you feel yourself in a depressive state, you're in this sad place constantly and it's uncontrollable, you can't get yourself out of this dark, sad place. My prayer is that you reach for help immediately. 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 Next question is the follow-up question. Who do you ask for help? Now, this is very touchy for people because not everybody is a safe place. Not everybody is a trustworthy place. But you find you someone that you could trust, whether it's your therapist or whether it's your best friend. Or maybe it's just a person that you're very, very close to that you could trust with your personal life. Because anytime you're going to be that vulnerable with people, you want to make sure it's a safe space. You don't want to be in a place where people are going to judge you and tear you down and make matters worse. You need someone that's going to hear you, that's going to feel you, and that's going to love you and respect you and help you. You understand? There's a difference. When people come to you with certain information, how do you respond? That is very important because your response can dictate or determine what they do next. I'm saying what I'm saying because there's a reason. Don't make somebody's safe place be their terror place. You understand? Like, you don't want to be the place where they can't come to and be safe with. if you are their safe place. So the things that I wrote down was reach out to someone you feel comfortable and safe with talking to. Consider seeing a therapist because there's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. I do not care what race, nationality, color, ethnicity you are. I don't care what your background say. I don't care what your childhood environment say. It's okay to see a therapist. Even if you are a child of God and you go to church every Sunday and you get the word of God and you read the word every single morning, it is still okay to get a therapist. Even therapists got therapists. Go talk to somebody who get paid to listen to your stories over and over and over again. Have you ever had somebody that tell you the same stories over and over? And you be like, girl, it's not that I don't want to listen, but there's someone that you can pay that's going to sit here and listen to it. They ain't going to get tired of it because guess what? They get paid for it. And sometimes not all your friends and family is available mentally and physically or emotionally to handle all that you have. So go talk to someone. Ask them if they're available before you unload. Remember when we talked about that? Consider seeing a therapist. Practice the conversation first. Sometimes you don't know how to open up or come out to somebody and tell them what's going on. Practice the conversation. Remember, one step at a time, one day at a time, one conversation at a time. Have the conversation with yourself first. This is how I'm feeling. Just say it out loud. Practice it. So then when you go to the person that you need to talk to or you go to your therapist, you're not trying, they ain't got to dig through all this stuff to try to get to it. You're going to openly start expressing yourself. Make it like a normal thing for you to practice, right? I'm sorry, y'all. My allergies is kicking in. Y'all already know? Okay. Okay, allergies. Calm down. What else we got? Reach out to the 24-hour hotline. There's a 24-hour hotline practically on everything that we could experience. Whether it's abuse, any type of abuse, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual abuse, there's hotlines. Depression, there's hotlines. Suicide, there's hotlines. Reach out. Reach out and talk to someone. Before you make the next step to do whatever it is that you reach out and have one conversation at a time can change your whole entire life. One step at a time, one day at a time. That's all I'm telling you. Try not to feel ashamed or guilty about your depression. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel ashamed about it. Don't try to hide it because the more you hide it, the deeper it goes. Don't be afraid to be who you are. Embrace it, face it, and fix it. The easiest way to fix something is you have to face it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to accept it. Once you accept it, okay, let's fix it. Let's work on it. Let's get better. You don't have to stay there. But sometimes we have to acknowledge where we are so that we can move to where we want to go. You feel me? You feel me? I know you feel me. Practice asking for help. Practice it. It's not easy. You are talking to a very independent person. I'm so in my head sometimes because I'm so independent in myself. I don't like asking people for nothing. And it's not that I don't feel like they'll help me. It's not that I feel like I should just have it all together because I don't. It's just that when I feel like when I ask people for help, I feel like I'm taking away from them. And I don't like to take away from people. I feel like if I'm asking for help, I'm inconveniencing people. And I don't like to inconvenience people. I'm too considerate and I'm too helpful. So those are the thoughts that go through my head. It's not that I don't just want people to help me. It's just that I don't want to take from you. I don't want you to have to go without just to help me. I don't want to inconvenience you in your situation just so you can help me. So I'll just have to figure it out myself. That's how I am. But that's not a good way to be. I'm learning that. I had to teach myself that surround. Sometimes it's okay to ask for help. Sometimes it's okay to accept help because sometimes you don't even have to ask. People just offer. And I'd be like, no, thank you. But then I'd be like, you know what? You know what? Yes. Like, it's okay to accept help. It's okay. It's okay to sometimes say yes to people wanting to help you and yes to people wanting to assist you. Like, I had to learn that. In my dark places, when I was grieving, when I was sad, and when I was going through, people wanted to help me. People wanted to And I'm just like, okay. I had to let my guard down, like, okay. Well, we want to take you out. Okay. We want to, okay. Okay. Can we come to the house? Sure. Yeah. I loved it when people showed up in my house because that gave me a reason to get up, cook, and do all this other stuff. Okay. You know? So practice asking for help and practice accepting help because some of us struggle with accepting help. Okay. Create a list of areas you may need help in. Create a list. What do I need help in? And let me ask for help. Sometimes you could be in a rough place and you got children and you got life and you got bills. If you need a minute, you need a week, 2, 3 to yourself and kind of figure some things out, reach out to the people you could trust that's safe and be like, listen, I'm in a place right now and I need help. Can someone help me get the kids hair done? Can someone help me, get the kids off to school this week? Can someone help me with dinner this week? I'm just really in a place of hardship or sadness and I just need a little help until I could, or hey, I need prayer. I need someone to come over here and hold my hand and pray with me. I need someone to stand with me. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. What do you need? What do you need? You need some weeks off of work? Ask for what you need. And when you take that mental health day, don't just take that mental health day and lay in a bed all day. Work out. Write in your journal. Read a book. Put some music on. Dance around your room. Sit in the tub. I'm telling you these things because it's what you do with that time that matters how you come out. What you do with that time matters how you heal. It determines your process and how long you're going to stay in there or how long you're going to come out of there. You get what I'm saying? We have to be proactive about our life. That's all I'm saying. Moving on. Make a list. I told you how to make a list. And then the next thing, my sister gave me this one. And I appreciate her for it. Key, I love you. And she was saying how to balance your household in depression. But I took it as far as saying, how do you balance your life? How do you balance work? How do you balance anything with depression? And I'm coming to where I'm going to. Don't worry. Not only how do you balance it with depression, but how do you overcome depression? Am I stronger than depression? And what are the steps that I could take to get through depression to make me feel better about me? These are the next. That's all that's on the next objective. But we're gonna run through this stuff because we ain't got much time because our powerful hour is coming to an end. But these are the things that I researched and what I found. Along with therapy and sometimes medication, there's a lot that you can do on your own to fight back. Changing behavior, your physical activity, lifestyle, and even what you're thinking, all are natural depression treatments. So, learning how to reprogram your thoughts. Oftentimes, it's our thoughts that put us in that dark place. It's our thoughts that overwhelm us. Our thoughts can be very loud. Our thoughts can be very intimidating. Our thoughts can be very controlling. Learn to navigate those thoughts. Learn to turn those thoughts around. Learn to put your thoughts on things that are peaceable, that are pleasurable, that are good, those things that are heaven, not the things that are on this earth because that's depressing, okay? That's just my 2 cents. Are you stronger than depression? Absolutely. How This is the ways that you overcome depression. Express yourself. A lot of us don't express ourselves, so we bottle it up inside and it weighs heavy on us. And we have this picture perfect lifestyle that we want people to think we have. No. People like, Sharon, you are always happy. That's because I learned to express myself. I would even talk to myself. People, I'm telling you, everybody that know me know I talk to myself all the time. Because, baby, what I'm not about to do is keep these thoughts inside. I'm going to let it out. I'm going to let it rain. Because no, I will not be in bondage to my own thoughts. I will not let my thoughts consume me. And when my thoughts become negative, I know how to turn them around and make them positive. I know how to put my things on those things that are great, those things that are pure, those things that are holy. That's how I learned to turn. I get those thoughts to come and I get down on my knees, y'all, and start praying to the heavens. God, release me from these thoughts because I don't want them to take over my mind and my body. I don't want it to fall on me heavy. God, release me, release me, release me. Give me something good to think about. Give me something good to eat. Like I will go in because what I don't allow to happen is I don't allow myself to get into that dark place anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't allow myself to dwell on the negative anymore. I've learned to count it all joy. Count it all joy. And the reason why I've learned to count it all joy, because God says all things will work out for the good of those that love the Lord. That means everything that happened, whether good, bad, happy, or sad, no matter what happened, He gonna turn it for my good. No matter what they said, He gonna turn it for my good. No matter what they tried to do, He gonna turn it for my good. So if I know that He's gonna work it out in my favor, if I know He got a ram in the bush, why am I worried? Count it all joy. When attacks come upon you, count it all joy. When people stab you in the back, count it all joy. When all hell is breaking loose, count it all joy. I've been saying that for over 15, 20 years. Count it all joy. When I had an Android, y'all, back in the day, that used to be, you know how you could have your little signature thing at the bottom, so it'll go on every text message you see it's your signature. And my signature was count it all joy. People still, now that I got an iPhone, which I've been having an iPhone for well over 10 years now, people still be like, count it all joy, because they know that's my thing. It's literally my thing. Okay, anyway, moving on. Count it all joy. Winning in depression, like I told you, there's so many things. We have to change the way we think. Change our physical activity. Some of us don't work out enough. I'm not saying go in the gym and do an hour worth of workout. I'm saying go for a walk. Go on a 20-minute walk. Do a fast power walk or do a 20-minute workout. Literally, you could do a 20-minute workout in your chair. I do a 15-minute workout in my chair every day at work. I walk. I read. Like, these are the things that has helping me. This is the things that calm my anxiety and don't allow me to go into a dark place. When I'm overly frustrated, I say, okay, let me step away. Let me breathe. Do your breathing treatments. Breathe. Get away from all the noise. Get away from the work. Get away from all the chores. Step back. Go take a walk. That stuff will be there when you get back. Guarantee you. It will be there when you get back. Don't dwell on the problems. A lot of us have this issue. Don't dwell on the problems. Why dwell on the problems when you could dwell on the solution? Why dwell on the problem when you could figure out what to do next? We ain't going to talk about this problem for too long, because the more you talk about it, the more you give it life. I'm going to talk about the problem solver. I'm going to talk about solutions and ways to get through it. But what I ain't going to do is give this situation too much of my time or my talk, because the more you talk about it, you give it life. We're going to dead that situation easy. You feel what I'm saying? Don't dwell on the negative. Notice and acknowledge the good things. Dwell on those. Notice and acknowledge. Sometimes we be so negative, we only see the bad, that we don't focus on the good. Focus on the good. Dwell on the good. Talk about the good. And let that good overpower the bad. Let the good outweigh the bad. We ain't got time. That's all I'm saying. So here are some of the steps that you could take, and we're almost coming to an end. This is the end of it, y'all. This is the end. This is the end. It says, these are the things I wrote down. Exercise regularly and eat healthy foods. Get a reasonable amount of sleep each night. Try to get a good little 8 hours of sleep. I know that ain't easy for some people because some of us only can eat, sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours, but try. Find purpose. Put your focus on someone and something other than yourself. Find purpose. Some of us have to find purpose in our children. Some of us find purpose in our goals, in our dreams, in our jobs, in our life. You got to find purpose. Find something to strive for. Find something to live for. I hope you find yourself to live for, but if that's hard right now, find something else that motivates you. Find something else that drives you and stick to it because you deserve it. Create a small list of goals to achieve. I tell y'all this every time. Check them off as you accomplish them. I be telling y'all what I be telling y'all for a reason. Make that checklist and check it twice. Make a list of the things you want to do just this week. And then make a list of the things you want to accomplish this month. And then make a list of the things you want to accomplish this year. And then make a list of the things you want to accomplish over the next set of years. And each day, mark it off. You will get there and you will be proud of yourself. These are things that help you. Again, another thing I always talk about, journal your thoughts. Each night before bed, you clear your mind. This is what I want you to do. Try it. Don't knock it till you try it. Write down all your thoughts in this journal. Take 5 minutes, just write down everything that you just been on your mind all day. And then right at the end, before you close out and you put your little signature, sincerely, whoever you are, you beautiful person, write 3 things that was good about the day. Every night. Try it for 7 days. Every night, write down 3 things that was good about the day. Find it. Find the joy in each day. Find the sunshine in each day. Find the sunlight in each day. Find the happiness in each day. One day at a time. One step at a time. One conversation at a time. Listen to music or watch a movie that makes you happy. Find your happy place, people. Do a creative activity as a way to express your emotions, as a distraction. Sometimes you do have to distract yourself from some of the crazy things. You know how people be like, oh my goodness, that feels so good. You took my mind off of that for a while. Or go to the shooting range. That's my happy place. Don't judge me. That's my happy place. When I go there, I don't think about nothing and nobody, y'all. If I go dancing, I don't think about nothing and nobody. That's why my new exercises are dance classes, because that's my freedom. If I could find a volleyball, being an adult volleyball team, that's going to be my next thing, because I want to play volleyball so bad. I miss it. Don't isolate yourself. Be around people, even if it means just going to a store. Don't isolate yourself, because sometimes being by yourself make you more depressed. Go be with family. Go walk around a store. Call some friends over and just have some drinks and food and just have a nice little night. Have a game night. Get out the house. Put some clothes on. Shower. Clean yourself. Get out. I'm being a little rough. I'm sorry. Be present in the moment. Recognize and appreciate your surroundings and the people that are in your life. I know we sometimes dwell on the people we lost and the things that we lost, but if you learn to dwell on the people that you have and the things that you have, you'll be more happy. Honestly, and I say this, and I don't mean to say this to be mean, and I don't mean to say this to be rude, and I don't mean to say this to be harsh, but this is what I had to tell myself, so I'm telling you. Again, this is not to be mean, it's not to be harsh, it's not to be rude, it's not to be insensitive, but as long as we live, we're going to lose. As long as we live, we're going to lose people, we're going to lose things, we're going to lose. As long as we play video games or real games in life, sometimes we're gonna lose. You have to be able to navigate through the losses without giving up on life. Because as long as you got breath in your body, you're gonna lose. And that's not something I'm saying you're gonna have to get used to. What I'm telling you is you have to learn to navigate through it, because as long as you live, it's gonna happen. Because life be lifing. And we don't have control over those things. So because we don't have control over those things, don't allow yourself to go into these deep depressions because these things are happening. No, I'm not saying just get through it and move through it. What I'm saying is get on a journey of healing. Learn how to acknowledge the triggers and see what's coming and address them accordingly. You deserve that. It's a powerful hour. You deserve it. Meditate to relax and refocus your thoughts. Try a meditation app. They have so many. If you have Apple Music, I think Spotify, there's different ones. Pandora, they have meditation music that would just play. That would soothe you and relax you. We used to put it on for the kids so they go to sleep. Listen to these waves and these storms and take your butt to bed. Like, relax, chill, whatever you need. So this last thing, I think I've already talked about it, is how to reprogram your thoughts. And I'm not saying like just learn to just navigate them somewhere else. When they get dark, when they get too dark and deep, navigate them somewhere else. Go pick up a book and read something happy. Go turn on a movie that makes you happy. Don't watch nothing depressing. Watch something happy. You have to learn how to turn your day around. And one of the key things about depression is learn about it. Understand what it is. Talk about it. Don't be ashamed of it. Keep the journal. Like I told you, write in the journal. See a doctor if necessary. Take a hot bath. Watch a good movie. Like these are the things. I'm telling you guys these things because they help. They really are helpful. You got to just take one day at a time. One step at a time, one conversation at a time. Don't be afraid to have these conversations. Don't be afraid to find someone that you can open up to and release this to. Because let me tell you something. Suicide rates are going up. And it's because our babies and our family don't feel comfortable enough to talk to someone about, but that was my best friend. Why didn't they talk to me? They might not feel comfortable with that conversation because they've probably never been in a place of vulnerability where they had to even express or articulate that, and they've never been able to, so they don't know how to. Some people don't know how to articulate what they feel. Remember, I told y'all when I was younger, growing up, or even as an adult previously in my 20s, I wasn't good at articulating my feelings. So I lashed out in other ways. I was mean. I was rude. It was ugly and it was nasty. And I had to fix my attitude. But far as fixing my attitude, I had to face the problem. I had to address it and fix it. I was like, oh, Sharon, you need to learn how to talk. All it takes is some communication. Talking about how you feel and not feeling embarrassed or feeling sad or being mad about what you're feeling, but just say it. And you can say it in a place of peace, in a place of joy, but find someone. Pick up the phone and call someone. Reach out. You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. And if somebody needs to hear it in the back, you are not alone. Do you understand me? We all go through things in life, and you don't have to go through it by yourself. You have someone praying for you. You have someone lifting you up. You have someone believing in you. I believe in you. And don't ever forget that you are necessary. You are needed. You are wanted. You are appreciated. You are loved. Do you hear me? You are loved. And remember, real love starts with us. You have to love yourself enough. You have to build your self-esteem. You have to build your confidence. And you have to speak life into yourself. And you have to believe it. Don't just say it, but you have to believe it. You got to let it resonate and let it sink in and let it fall on good soil in you so that it could grow. And you got to water that thing. And you got to speak that thing every day. Remember, you got to extend yourself mercy and grace. You got to forgive yourself. You got to love yourself. You got to crown your own head with glory. Don't let your crown fall off. You a king. You are a queen. And you matter. I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for letting me even engage you guys into this conversation, because I know it could go so many different ways. Again, this is my blueprint. This is what worked for me. I'm telling you, you can use it. Try it. If you haven't tried some of these coping mechanisms or these techniques, try it. It might work for you. Take a long bath. Put on some good music. Have a glass of wine. If you need to go talk to a therapist, do it. Baby, you matter. You're important and you're necessary. I'm going to stop preaching at y'all. I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much. Thank you again for tuning in to the All In No Limits podcast, where you're always going to find me, your girl, your sister, your best friend, your number one pusher and hype man. You guys, I love y'all. And I'm rooting for you to win. I'm rooting for you to become the best version of yourself. It's me, your girl, Sharon Yvonne. What we came to do, to heal, to grow, and to glow. I love you guys. I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you already know when I'm tuning in. I'm coming back to you as much as I can because I love you. Okay? I love you. Bye.